Hey, this is Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com, and today we're going to do our shaky cam interior walkthrough in a 2020 Lexus NX. This is kind of the smallest, not quite the smallest, but you know, it's a small Lexus crossover aimed at single parents, couples, small families, and individuals who want something a little bit bigger than maybe a sedan. So, nicely done, but I do have a few quibbles with this particular package. This is the F Sport package, but otherwise, nicely done little car. So let's just get started. I'll start where I usually do, and we'll just walk through this thing. Hey, it's Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com, and today's review is brought to you by the Gary Sinise Foundation. Click the link below and donate. So we start over here. You can see the usual. You got your windows here. That locks the windows there. Door locks right there. This is to adjust the side mirrors. In the middle is auto, so you can. It's a toggle switch. So you can see it's auto, and then if I push that, it folds them in, and I push that, and they stay out. There you go. Left and right here. Move them around there. Up here you can see the door handle and the first of the brushed and the faux carbon fiber that's in this. Part of the F Sport. Over here is the first of the vents. Down here's a bunch of buttons. Here you have automatic high beams. Here you have your blind spot management. You can toggle it on and off. This opens the rear hatch and closes the rear hatch. Steering heat down here. Camera views are right there. And this locks the differential if you want to force 4x4 in the all-wheel drive system. Up here you can see you got an odometer button and then your brightness for the instruments and whatnots. And that's about it. There's some empty buttons there, and the hood release is way down here. Decent dead pedal. I'll point that out. I like to, because most people underestimate the power of a dead pedal. Now, looking here, we have the kind of the usual Lexus on our steering wheel here. So over here you have basically infotainment controls. Here's the volume here. Here's track select, station select, etc. Here is the mode, so you can change where the input is coming from. And then you can see there's a little speaker symbol to tell you what that's for. It seems redundant, but whatever. All right. Over here is your telematics, even though that's not what it is. It's for telephone connections. But I like the word telematics, so I use it a lot. So pick up and hang up. Get the idea there. I will note that you cannot use these to connect your phone. It's a little more complicated than that. You have to instead use that. It's annoying. Anyway, voice control, another way to do it. So you could push the voice control, ask to connect your phone, and boom, eventually walk through the menus and have it done. Again, a little bit tedious. Over here, this is basically driver information screen stuff. So you use this to flip through that screen up there. I'll show you more on that in a few. This is the select button. This is the back and forth and up and down, right? So basically, major menus here, sub-menus here, select stuff there. Over here you have, again, a menu screen. Now this does kind of the same thing this does, but it pages through them quicker. So if you're on a sub menu, you can quickly jump to a main menu using that. Here's a back button. Here's a lane keeping, and this is the radar distance for the adaptive cruise. Cruise control is controlled on this dongle down here. Still not sure why they keep doing that, but whatever. You push this to select it, so to turn it on and off, and then up and down to set and reset. You can see that. Pull it towards you to cancel. That's just on the top. You can just see it there, and there you go. Fairly intuitive once you get used to it, but I don't like the dongle idea. I prefer to just have it up here, but whatever. You can see the paddle shifters, because every car is NASCAR now. Even though that's a Formula One thing. It sounds funnier when you say NASCAR, right? Okay. Anyway. Over here, here's your windshield washer, wipers, etc. So you can use this for the rear one, up and down for the front one. You can kind of see what that's going to be doing. Right here you got some settings for how fast it is, that kind of thing. And then back and forth. So push it back to squirt the back, pull it towards you to squirt the front. Over here you got more stuff for the same thing. So you can see the lighting. I said same thing even though it's not the same thing, right? Because, you know, that's how I am. Up and down for the signal turns. This is the lighting. You can see I have it on auto. You can change that. This is fog lamps right here. And that's all you got. Now, go to the instrument cluster. Over here you got some engine heat. Where's my finger? Over here. Over here you got a tachometer. If this were an actual sports car, that might matter. It's not really an actual sports car, and you can't shift the gears, really. I mean, you kind of can, but, you know. Anyway, pointless. Over here is a speedometer. Down there's Canuck miles per hour. And then way over there, that's your fuel. I've done a lot of driving in this, so I used up a lot of fuel. And then over here, I'll give you some fuel economy numbers and stuff in 1 second. You can see what my average was right there, according to the car's computer. Car's computer may or may not be right. And then I'll just show you quickly. Here's a couple of menus. Neato menus. I love the menus. You can do a lot of little things if you really want to in here. You don't have to, but you can. It's fun. So I've mostly been leaving it on the digital speedometer that you may or may not have seen right at the beginning. But you can pick and choose what you want. Pretty cool stuff. Some of it is useful. I like the trip information. It's good at that. And then you can see a couple of things over there. And then if I change I'll show you how to do this, but you can see down here is the indicator of what drive mode you're in, that sort of thing. So moving along, here's the start button. Down there you can see the pedals, and then you can just see this. This is the ASC, so you can turn things up and down with that. Now, let's look at infotainment. Historically, this has always been Lexus, yeah, whatever. It just sounds wrong, right? It just doesn't sound right. Anyway, historically, infotainment has been Lexus's weak point, and it continues to be so, sorry to say. So this is the screen. It's too far away to be a touch screen, and it's not a touch screen, so it's okay that it's so far away. It is nice and wide. I do like wide screens because you can get more information on them than you can really big screens, right? Big square ones. So this is basically the main menu. When I push the menu button down there, that's what you end up with. This is what you control it with. It's like a mouse pad, sorta, kinda, you know. And then you have some hard buttons, so maps right there, menu right there, and back button right there. Now, as I move around, you see how this does it. It has haptic feedback on the mouse pad, which does actually improve things. Kind of surprising, but still, it is a little bit clunky. So I'm going to show you this from the camera over there, the Me Cam. So that you can see what I'm doing to control this screen. But again, it's very clunky. It doesn't feel very intuitive at all. And it's just not what it could be. But it is better than Lexus past. Haha, how's that? So right now you can see I'm on the audio source screen. You can go over all the way to the right. Raw. See, it took some effort to do that. And there's some other options, kind of like main menu options. So I want to look at, say, vehicle metrics. Then boom, I can pop that up. Here's some trip info, stuff like that. Again, I'm just not terribly impressed, but it is better than it has been in the past. It is pretty connective, so you can see there's Lexus notifications. If you have the Lexus app on your phone and your phone is tethered, then you'll get that. You have a few other things that you can add on. You can add Pandora, but you cannot get still Android Auto, which is highly annoying. It would make this way better if I could just use that. But anyway, then you see some vents, and then you see the analog clock, which is a sure indication that this is a luxury vehicle. Now, coming down here, this is climate controls. Normally you're looking at them like this. That's not so bad if you're tall, right? This is even with my head, so this is how I see it. I can see those, right? But if I'm a shorter person, not so much. You're kind of seeing it at an angle, and it's a little harder to read. But back to it. Here's your temperature settings, fan. This is where you want it to blow, or you can just hit auto. You can turn it off right there. I don't know why that's on. I didn't want it on. I need to turn all that off. There you go. Defrost, rear defrost plus side mirrors. etc. You get the idea. Bun warmers here, seat coolers there, warmers, coolers there. For the passenger, Duke's lights right in the middle. This is cool. So this is the rear passenger. If somebody's sitting in the rear, doesn't matter how much they weigh, if they're back there, it will register them. And then I think that, well, come to think of it, they do have to be fairly heavy, about 20 pounds. So it won't count most dogs, but it will count most small dogs, but it will count dogs and kids. Anyway, it indicates whether or not their seatbelt is on. Kind of useful. As far as I know, every Toyota product has that in some fashion. It's either here, or it's up there, or both. Now, down here you got storage right here that I have no idea what you put in there. Maybe a very small MP3 player. It's only about as long as that finger from there to there, from tip to that knuckle. So it's not terribly deep. But you could throw like an MP3 or something in there. Small things, maybe some keys. Here you have a CD player. Surprised to see that, aren't you? Because CD players kind of even. But anyway, here's the eject and all the other stuff for that. Here's the power there for radio, stereo, etc. Here is the tuner button, or tuner knob, and that's about it. Now, down here, I was changing the drive mode before. You probably saw that. I used this. You push it to get normal mode. You turn it to the right to get sport or sport plus. Do it twice, you get sport plus. Sport plus is basically sport mode without traction control. It's pretty much the gist of it. And then over here is eco mode. When you're on the highway, you flip it over to that, and you get better fuel economy according to them. I haven't actually tested it because I don't think it's, in my experience, these don't do a whole lot. You might get a couple miles you know, a couple extra gallons of it or whatever on a 100-mile or so trip, but most people are not going to see a substantial change. Who knows though? Yours may be different. Here's traction control. Here's a input. This I think is for climate. I don't know though. And then here's the shifter, and you can see it's pretty straightforward. And then if you're all the way down in drive, you can put it in manual. You can shift with this, or you can use those paddle shifters up there on the steering wheel. Parking brake. This one's automated, so it shuts on and off on its own. You can turn that off. Here's the indicator that it's on. You can turn it off via infotainment up there. Up here you got hill hold assist and or launch control if you really want to try. It's not going to work, but you could try it. I like calling it launch control because it just sounds cooler. Here's the aforementioned infotainment trackpad. And then over here, some drink holders. They're pretty good size. I like them. And then right here is your wrist rest for this, right? And then here, this jumps through stuff up there. You just have to use it to figure out how it works, but that's what it's for. Down here, you got a little storage cubby. It's kind of weird. It goes way up under here, and it's right there. It's good for small stuff. You can maybe throw a phone in there, but then you got to figure out what to do with this part. But this has a convenient, I think they call it a makeup mirror, personal mirror. I have no idea what they call this. To me, it's you know, mirror. that's all I can think of. Anyway, this I'm sure Toyota Lexus would not approve of me calling it that, but in the business, that is what we have dubbed this. All right, then right here you got a good armrest, really big for the size of this vehicle. This is not a big vehicle, and this is a huge armrest. It feels really good. Underneath it, if I can find the button, there is a large storage bin. You see the size of that? It's a good size. You have this tray that's removable, clearly. Some USBs, an aux port. There's a 12 volt right there. Decent amount of everything for storage in here. I'm having a hard time getting that back in place. I really like this. This is a huge plus in this car. Seating is very good, nicely done, comfortable, bolstered well. These are the F Sport seats, so they have thicker bolsters. I'm not terribly enthused about it. They feel good. They're not poking me or jamming me or anything. They do hold you in the seat well, but the regular seats that come with this are also good. I've had them in years past. Over here is the dashboard, so you can see what it looks like. Nice little flow. I like that. It's kind of a waterfall look when you look at it. So you can see they split it with that faux carbon fiber in the middle. It's kind of metallic looking, and then it just breaks up the black. Add some stitching on. It looks really good. Hard plastics down here, though, and a little bit of road noise in this vehicle, which is, yeah, you know, I wouldn't expect that in a Lexus, especially of this caliber. Most of the road noise, I will point out, is with the F Sport package. It's a tighter suspension and a few other things, and it grates. The F Sport rides rough, and it's sporty, but I don't know if people buying this sort of package really need that. This sort of vehicle. It's not really what it's for. It's not terribly fast. It's good. It's speedy. Feels speedy. There's the back seats. I got 3 kids across. No issues at all. Other than the usual, you know, they're 9, 10, and 11 years old, so they are going to elbow each other. It doesn't matter how big the back seat is. But decent sized back seat. Good sized cargo, too. I'll show you that. I really like this vehicle. I know who the audience is. I understand what they want, and this fits almost everything. My only beef with the NX at all is the F Sport package. The F Sport is just, it's rough riding. It's not terribly sporty per se. It does have good exhaust sound when you put it in sport mode and push it. But a vehicle like this, you're really not going to be doing that much. This should be a vehicle that's way more about comfort than it is anything else. And it just rides really rough on the road. I had a friend in this car. We had used a big Ram pickup truck, a big 1-ton truck, to haul a bunch of stuff around, and we parked and we got in this so I could take her home, and she commented that that truck was more comfortable than this car was. That's not good. So anyway, all right, all the way around though, I really do like the Lexus NX. This has been the 2020 Lexus NX. Good vehicle. I understand the market it's for. So if you need a small luxury crossover, maybe you're a single parent, maybe you're, I don't know, whatever. If you need something like this, this is great. So good price too. So there you go. It's been Aaron, AaronOnAutos.com. Talk to you again soon. Subscribe.